Welcome to On the Mic with Shaz once again. This is our special guest series, Women in Tech Leadership, The Upsides. I'm your host, Shaz, and I can't wait to share these conversations with you. Let's jump in. Today, I'm joined by Sayanti Sarkar. Her story starting out from an SAP consultant with IBM across the US, India, and the Netherlands to now senior principal client delivery at Slalom, leading data, cloud, AI projects, and managing delivery excellence initiatives. She has worked in program management within organizations such as REA Group, NAB, and Accenture. Welcome, Sayanti.
Thanks, Shaz. That was such a good intro.
Yeah, you've done lots, haven't you? And interesting across US, India, and Netherlands too. Amazing.
Yeah, I think IBM was my first job right out of uni. So I did a MBA and I joined IBM in the SAP practice. Yeah, a lot of travel. It was a really good experience. That's the first time I actually went out of India, out of home. So I used to live with my parents. Yeah, it was intense. I landed in New Jersey in November with just a jumper. I still remember, like, I was coming out of the airport and there was this guy. He's like, "That's not going to cut this weather." I'm like, "What is he talking about?" But it was negative temperatures. It is hard, these sort of things. But I made a lot of friends, so much life experience and new clients working there. So, yeah, really, really rewarding. Netherlands, I went there in April. It was a small town called Nijmegen. Brilliant place again, like exposure to European culture and how they work. Like they're like start very early, finish by 3:30. Markets close quite quickly, so the quality of life that we have in Australia, it's sort of similar there. So everybody has that right to live in the way they want to. For a person coming from India, it was a really good eye opener, to be honest, that this should be there for everybody. Like, everybody should have the right to have their free time, enjoy their time with their families and themselves. It was good. Long time back though.
But what a fantastic way to start your career, though. In straight into the deep end. Did you find that you fast tracked, had some growth early on?
To be honest, at that time, you were so immature. I was like 26, so I don't know if I was looking at growth that way. But I'm pretty sure as a human being living in India for 25 years and then suddenly being exposed to multiple countries, I'm pretty sure I grew. I think you become more resilient, become more open to changes. I think what I also learned was how to live by myself, which was like really, I've never done that. I'm a single kid, very protected. So I've always lived with my parents. So living in like a whole apartment by myself, doing everything like groceries and driving a car in a foreign country. Yeah, it was hard, like I said, but I'm pretty sure it made me grow up very quickly, like from a little girl to a woman, maybe. At that time, I was just like, yeah, new places, let's just go explore. I traveled a lot as well, like personal travel, like went to Niagara Falls, Amsterdam when I was in the Netherlands, Germany, Belgium. We had a lot of friends there from the same company, so we used to travel a lot. So that was good, like a perk of traveling via work. So yeah, it was a very good experience.
Nice, nice. And you recently shared a post on LinkedIn about Indian Australians and the gold coin donation rule for casual dressing. That story, I loved it. For the listeners, talk us through this story and your post and what it means to you.
Thanks for bringing that up. I think everybody knows what's going on in Australia and many other countries. I feel that sometimes what it does, like a lot of people from India have reached out to me and said, "Oh, what's going on in Australia? Are you guys safe? Is everything okay?" Are people like coming to you on the streets and saying like you shouldn't live here? And I just feel that it's an image of Australia which is not correct at all. I feel it's a minority group who are very visible on the media. And as a result, people outside of Australia would feel that, okay, this is what goes on. But I just wanted to say why I shared that post. And that's the reason that I wanted to give a real view of what happens here. And to be very honest, I landed up from India to a place which cannot be any more different. Like it's a very small town. Adelaide is a city. Don't quote me on the figures, but must be like more than 10 million at least to the city itself, or more than that, probably 15 million, like where I come from, my hometown. It's not even the biggest city in India. And Adelaide is like 1 million people, very small. I went to a mining company, which is completely different as well. So, and that's where the gold coin donation thing happened. So I feel like for a lot of people have told me that that's quite common for people to think like, oh, a gold coin actually means a gold coin. And maybe it's because we come from an Indian culture and gold for us, gold is like gold jewelry. We actually have gold coins as well. So yeah, when I look back, I'm like, how naive I was. Nobody's going to give a gold coin to wear like jeans and t-shirt on a Friday, right? But yeah, at that time you just don't know any better, right? So you are like, okay, maybe that's what they do here. But like I said, the experiences I had in the US and Netherlands obviously helped me, because if I would have landed here and that's my first sort of experience outside an Asian country, it would have been probably harder. But again, like every country has its nuances, right? And the lingo as well, like different things are called differently, like you mentioned when you talk to me. So yeah,
With the thongs.
with the thongs,
Thongs,
yes,
yeah,
yes,
I thought
yeah.
thongs was underwear.
Yeah, like thongs, arvo. Like I remember once we were walking, me and my husband, we were walking. Adelaide has a similar to Burke Street Mall here, like a mall street. And we asked for directions, and this person said, "Oh, just go past the Woolies, and you'll find it on the left." I'm like, "Okay, what is Woolies?" So they're like basic stuff which are very new to you when you move here.
Awesome. Awesome. So now for our listeners to get to know you a bit better from a personal perspective, what's your morning ritual that sets you up for a good day?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have the 5 a.m. wake up and smoothie ritual. I do have a smoothie in the morning. I think the good mornings which I really look forward to are the ones where I work from home, and it's because I get the time to get my son dressed up and we walk from my house to the school. And most of the days we've been very lucky this year. Most of the days we have done that walk, like it was not raining or anything. And it's a kilometer and a half. It's not very long, but I feel that's a very good way to start the morning. There's no digital media interference. You're just talking to each other, and he shares his life, what he read, what he's dreaming about. He has a million questions. So yeah, I really love that walk. Sometimes my husband comes when he's also working from home. So all three of us do that. And then I come back. I don't know why, but at that point of time, maybe it's just because it's morning, you're starting the day. I really feel like a lot of gratefulness that we can do this. You know, you can walk through these streets, which are so beautiful. Like there's spring going on. There's like right outside my house, there's a tree, which is, I think, the most beautiful blossom like ever that I've ever seen. And you get this opportunity to walk to school, send your child to a really good school, which is not a very like not available to probably 90% of humans on this planet. So yeah, I think that sort of sets me up. I feel very nice. Sometimes we have a coffee, there's a cafe. So it's almost perfect, right? Like life just feels like can't get better than this. And then I come back, start my work. So that's the day I really like, when we can do that slower morning and then you can sort of feel what life is giving you.
I love that. That's fantastic. Like the gratitude of the little moments in life.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I'm so in agreement with that because, we can get into that whole busy world. And I think it's so important to just pay attention to the little moments. And like you said, just by having that ritual with your family as well, from
Yeah.
working
Yeah.
from home. And
Absolutely.
do you find like then you're more productive because of that?
For sure. I think productivity is probably like always there because there's so much work. I just find that I have more balance, maybe. There is that start, and then it depends on how the rest of the days goes and who you're spending it with. But I just feel that that is my time with my child where there's nothing else going on. We're not running for anything, which is quite rare in nowadays. Like he's grown up, he has so many different classes, and I have so many things. My husband's busy, everybody's busy. So yeah, maybe the balance is something which I really find out of that. And then obviously you go into a busy day and your Zoom calls and chats and things going on left, right, and center.
Yeah, yeah. It's so important to have that balance because, like you said, before you go into that busy day, if you do have that kind of moment to pay attention to the really cool stuff and be
Mm,
present, then it does set
mm,
you up for a good day,
mm.
right? Yeah. So I think that's awesome. And you mentioned there that you like your smoothies. So if your leadership style was a smoothie, then what would it be called?
I feel as a leader, I think maybe a collaborative, I mean, maybe a collab chiller. If I just look back on the companies you just named in my intro and the days I enjoyed the most are the times when I was working with my team and we were doing things, but we were also having a lot of fun together. If we are in office, we would have coffees and people would chill together, work together. And that's how you build relationships. You know, the network we talk about, it's not just there because you want them for work, but it's also that connection to a human being who you work with. So yeah, maybe Collab Chiller is the one which sort of comes to mind for me.
There it is, listeners. Get yourself a collab chiller right now.
Maybe I should market that, right? Just
You
sell it.
should.
Like,
You should bring that out.
understand what to add in it.
Love it. Love it. So listen, let's get into your journey then. What first excited you about stepping into a leadership role in tech? Was there like a moment where it hit you and you were like, yeah, this is for me?
I think it was more organic. To be honest, I was quite lucky. I think I started my full-on leadership role at NAB, and I knew some people they were looking for a delivery lead. I, I genuinely, I don't think it happens all the time, and I don't think it will happen to me again. But I walked into a lift, and there was a person I knew who was looking for somebody, and I said, "Oh, I'm looking for this role." She's like, "Oh, I'm looking for this person," and then I think I did two interviews still because there was an internal role and I got it. And that elevated the role I was doing to the role I went into. It was probably three times the responsibility. And that's probably where I started. I've had a lot of good, what's the right way to say it without sounding very bad? Like a lot of growth, maybe it's a good word, in the last probably 7, 8 years. And I think that was the start of it. What excited me, I think leadership is about being comfortable with making decisions. And that's also the very scary part, right? Especially I remember when I started my leadership role, I'm like, oh, am I going to decide this? What happens if it goes wrong? So it excited me and it scared me at the same time. So things which make you uncomfortable is what makes you grow in the first place, right? I think in hindsight, I feel like nobody really knows that a decision is 100% correct, right? They take it, there are risks to every decision and they still take it and they're accountable for it. So at that time, I think the first few months was like, oh my God, I'm going to take this decision. What's going to happen? So yeah, that decision making capability, right? That you can decide what you're going to do as a team. So that's a very big deal. As I say, I was a senior business analyst before that. So I never had to make those decisions myself. So somebody else could do that for me. And now I have to do that. So I think that was the most exciting part.
Yeah, awesome. And it's good that you leaned into it, even though it was daunting in your first time. It's good that you embraced it the way that you did.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I really enjoy what I do. I think that's why probably I am still doing it and I'm liking it. So yeah, hopefully it goes like that.
Yeah, yeah. On that note, what's one thing about being in tech leadership that genuinely makes you excited to get out of bed on a Monday?
I really love working with people. I think there are many different things, but if I just have to point one, it would be the people I work for. So what I really feel inspired in my role is that I have the capability to give them or maybe take them in their career where they want to. So especially at REA, because I was in a people leadership role and here as well I am. And even if you're not in a people leadership role, if you identify somebody who wants to go somewhere, and if you can give that opportunity or if you can coach them to get that opportunity somewhere, I don't think anything can take that away, right? Because that person grows and that person has what they want in their life and nothing else can be more fulfilling. So with REA, there are numerous such examples where I could help people get where they want to. And when I was leaving, a lot of people came to me and said, oh, I'm here because of you. I think nothing else can give me more satisfaction than that. So that's probably the thing that keeps me going.
Yeah, wonderful. That's wonderful. And moving away from the professional side a little bit now, how has leading transformed how you see yourself, not just as a professional, but as a person?
How I see myself, it's again like you're asking very difficult, very, very good questions. How I see myself right now, your self perception is a very complicated thing, right? Because there's some parts you know and some parts you don't know. I feel that I always had a lot of what's the right word here? Proactivity. I was always a very proactive person, on top of things all the time, very good at execution. Now, I think what I've added to my personality, and that's something which I have taken from the last few years, is the empathy and the patience for people. Because earlier, like when you are not a leader, you work with a group of people, but you don't need to really manage them, their emotions. But now I know there are so many different types of people, right? Like there's extroversion, introversion, there's race, there's gender, there's so many different varieties of people that you deal with. So that has made me very patient in dealing with people. And I feel that I can use that in my real life as well with my friends and my partner. So yeah, I think if I just say what I look at myself as feel like I have those qualities of a good project manager. I can schedule things, I can get on top of things, but I also have the human side where I'm very empathetic towards people's needs and I can be there when they want me. And that's where I want to make more and more contribution to as well in the longer run. So yeah.
That's great. I love the way you put that actually. So, what's helped you then feel more confident or grounded than in rooms where you might have been maybe the only woman or the only person from your background?
Again, like this obviously doesn't come in a single day. To be honest, there has been a lot of times where I was the only woman. I used to work for Crown Melbourne. I was in an all men's team and I was pregnant as well. But it was a really good experience. People used to take super care of me. I used to enjoy that attention a lot. But coming back to your question, especially when I moved here, it took a while for me to feel that I am good enough. I don't know if that makes sense, but when you come from a different background, you know you're good there. And I knew I was good where I was coming from, but I didn't know whether I was good here. It took a while, and my manager was also very good. I feel like I remember in sessions where I would not speak up, though I had ideas or questions or comments. And I would see other people speak, and I was like, oh, I could ask a better question or I could have a better idea. And that gradually, and then you have the confidence to say, maybe say it once and people have accepted it or liked it. And then you get that confidence gradually. There's no way to bring it instantly. If somebody is trying to do that, it's just pushing yourself too hard. It's like just understand the room, try to read the room. And I would say also don't pay too much attention to whether you're a woman or Indian. I think a lot of it is in our heads. I don't think people look at humans like that, especially in a workplace. Like, I don't care where a person comes from as long as they're good in their jobs and they're good with people. In fact, I would be more open, more interested in a person who comes from a very different background because they can teach me so much about their country and where they come from and what is their ethnicity, right? They're more interesting to me personally. Yeah, but sorry, I'm giving very roundabout answers, but I think what I want to say is try to build your confidence gradually, see what your company is or where you work, like what are the type of people, what is the accepted behavior, what sort of questions do you have, are they acceptable, are they smart enough, do you feel that you can contribute, and then gradually open up is what I would say I would do if I have to do it again.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And remain authentic to yourself, because I think when you always self-reflect and tap into your authenticity and values, and we say this a lot, but when you do that, when you're in that room and you're getting a vibe that you're respected and it's all going well, then you're in the right environment. Happy days. However, if you're showing up as your authentic self and it's not being received well and you're getting this bad energy and you can feel it physically, we typically can feel it physically, then you can start to reflect on, is this the right environment for me? Is there a way I can change this environment? And if not, should I be looking elsewhere? And I think we should take back that power within ourselves and not try and change to fit in to our environment. I think that we should really reflect on ourselves and, is this still serving my values? When you join, maybe that organization, that role does serve your values in that time frame. Maybe it does serve like who you are, but you grow, you evolve, and maybe sometimes the organization doesn't go with you, or the people
Mm,
around you, or your manager who you're reporting to doesn't go with you. So you
mm,
have to, again, self-reflect back yourself, come back to your values, and you're physically going to feel it when it's not aligning. And if you don't tap into that physical feeling that's telling you wrong, 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 it's like a warning sign. It's like a little alarm going off. And it's your intuition telling you this is no longer serving you. This is no longer serving you. And I'm going to keep showing up physically until you click. This isn't right. And you need to do something to fix it. And I think we need to start paying more attention to that within ourselves, and don't be afraid to actually seek out support and get help with that to see what's next for you and return to that authentic part of yourself. Just remembered what I was going to say earlier when you said about empathy and bringing empathy and compassion into leadership. We throw this around a lot. So I love the way you put it, in that it's important because everyone is individual. Our characteristics are what like define us in how we show up to our professional life. And you've seen it, you'll be in a room where someone will make excuses right? And it's just excuse after excuse and blame and blame and blame. And you can tell, okay, in their personal mapping, something's up and this is how they're approaching. They come from any background, it still shows up the same. So it doesn't matter our backgrounds. It's you individually as a person. So you're right in that you bring the empathy and the compassion to that individual. And we also have to be warriors in that we're all also able to call out those who make the excuses and do the blame game. As leaders, we
Yeah.
also have to be able to take charge there as well.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think we are very lucky, especially the workplaces I've worked in. Like, for example, REA Group, I had people who were like originally born and brought up in Melbourne, with people like me who had come from India. I had a team member who was from Iran, a person who was from, I think, the UK. So we had a lot of diversity, and I feel this is my take, and I'm an expat here. I was not born here, but I feel that is our strength, like that diverse perspective, and you can bring that in a workplace. A person's life experience is different, irrespective. Even if I have grown up with another person next door, life experience is different. But if I am from, say, India, and another person is from Iran, like the diversity of thought that that person can bring as opposed to me would be very different, right? And that's where we can use that as a advantage. I think that's something which not all countries have. Like India, for example, is not a very diverse population. It's mostly Indians when you work with them. So yeah, I feel that that is that multiculturalism, and not just in the workplace. Like Melbourne is food wise, festivals, culture. I have never felt out of place in this city as an Indian person, and I'm pretty sure that is true for a lot of other people from other nationalities. So I feel that's a strength that we genuinely can tap it, and good companies are doing that already. They realize that, they value that.
You nailed it there when you said good companies. Listeners, follow the good companies, seek out the good companies, attract the good companies because they are there and they don't get mentioned enough. And I think you can attract those good companies into your life to give you that career that you seek and the leadership roles that you deserve too.
Yep. Yeah. Like, for example, I'm very new to slalom, but I can see a lot of very senior leaders who are actually on the slalom website. They have a lot of diverse backgrounds, and a lot of people who have moved from other parts of slalom, like other countries, and they are in Australia now. So I feel that again, like you said, good companies are taking advantage of this fact and doing good as a result of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And there'll be the ones that are successful and the rest will be left behind. And then we'll just clap.
Yeah, I just remembered when you were talking about fitting in, belonging. I was doing, I think, REA, we were opening an office in India and they were interviewing me to understand how to connect with people there. I just said, I don't think we should make people trying to fit in. It's important that they feel that they belong. And I remember I learned that in one of the leadership trainings where I was saying that I try to fit in as a leader because I'm come from somewhere else. And the person who was conducting it, she said that I think true, true potential can be unleashed when you don't need to fit in. You already feel that you belong. So I just feel that that's the best state that you can be, right? Like in any company, workplace, city, home, wherever, if you feel that this is me, like I don't need to be anybody else, that's when you can be your natural self and that's your skills come out. You're not sort of pretending. I think that's where everybody should at least try to be. It's a privilege, though. It's not everybody who can achieve that in every company.
Absolutely. And you can achieve it. I've seen organizations go from not really knowing what to do to then someone comes along, gives them the solution. And when you care enough, you'll do it. And then your company thrives, your people thrive.
Mm,
So it is
mm.
worth putting money, energy into that rather than backpedaling later.
Yep, absolutely. And another thing I really believe in this, and this was also told to me by somebody very wise, is if we don't try to change anything, how will things change? This was
Yeah,
actually literally told to me by somebody when I was talking about, oh, what's the point of doing this? Nothing will change. And if we don't try it, it will not change anyway. So I really believe in that. I think one person can make a huge difference. We don't realize that, especially in a country like Australia, because it's a very small country, right? Compared to where I come from, so there is immense opportunity to actually make the change. Like a single person can bring it if they want to. So that want is like that belief and want that it can move the dial is very important.
yeah. And yeah, it's totally important. What's a positive ripple effect then you're most proud of creating for, we'll say, another woman, for your team, or even in your family?
Yeah, I feel like there is, again, I hope there is that ripple effect, like I was mentioning about career growth. So when I create leaders, I feel like you can be a good leader when you can create good leaders, because that in turn will create that positive environment. People will thrive. So I have created people who are leaders and who are operating very well. They are now supporting other people. I would say a career ripple effect or an organizational one. I think culturally, I've done a lot of work, especially REA gave me that opportunity. Slalom also has a similar sort of a environment and culture where we could showcase our culture. Like with REA, for example, we would host Diwali every year for the whole company, and that like is like 1,000 people. Our CEO would attend that, people would come, people would eat. So I feel like that creates that impact. And then I remember we did it once, that thing, November, and in January we had a Chinese New Year celebrated and we attended that. Then it started that sort of tradition of celebrating different festivals together. And I feel that's a really good change that, like, not just me, like together we could achieve in that organization, right? And it's still continuing. I'm pretty sure people are doing whatever was happening last year. So yeah, I feel those are the things I'm most proud of, and I feel like it would contribute to something.
Yeah, well done, Sayanti. Yeah. Because it's important. Like, just because you move to another country, it doesn't mean you should have to forget your own culture. So I
Yep.
think that's super important.
Yeah, and that's what, like, bringing us back to that post, that's what I feel, that like I didn't ever feel like I needed to. I feel that there were people who were super interested in our culture, that now we have so many different Indian cultural festivals and Indian film festivals, and people attend that because they are, I think Australians, again, like maybe I'm too positive or naive, I don't know what it is, but I feel Australians are very open to international cultures and they really want to know it, like genuinely interested in it. And I've seen, like, I attend the Melbourne International Film Festival, Melbourne Indian Film Festival, and there are lots of non-Indians in the audience watching those movies or listening to the interviews. I'm like, I would never go like a X country film festival because I would not be interested. And that's what I really value about people here, that they are so open to different cultures and they want to know, they want to eat the food, know the movies, know the people, which is really good. So we were always given that open stage and we were always celebrated, to be honest. Yeah.
My favorite is Indian weddings. Indian weddings, my goodness. Fun fact for you. I danced at an Indian wedding before. I used to be a
Wow.
dancer. Yeah, in Thailand, I was a dancer. And so it was 3 days, 3 days long. Now, don't ask me to remember who this was in the charts at the time, but I didn't realize this. I was just doing the dance, and I think it was kind of Bollywood hip hop style.
Hmm.
And we were doing a routine, and we did it to this particular song by this artist. And the artist walked up to us at the wedding, and apparently he was number one in India at the time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay. That's
it.
very interesting.
I think the name began with S. That's all I can remember. I apologize, but
That's
it
okay.
was
That's
years
fine.
ago. It was years ago. And yeah, he walked up in the wedding and said, "Thank you for dancing to my song." There was 5 of us, 5 girls, and he said we did a great job. And we were floored. I came home and I was telling people, and my friends from India, and they were like, "What?" You
You
know?
met that person.
Yes.
Oh,
So of
wow.
course
Okay.
I did
Must be
not.
somebody
So
big then.
yeah. And
Yeah.
we did 3 days, but we did belly dancing, we did the Bollywood hip hop, and we did a Brazilian samba at a barbecue
Mm.
they did the next day. It was the most fantastic wedding I've ever seen in my life. Beautiful,
I'm
amazing.
pretty
And
sure it was. I'm pretty sure it
yeah.
was.
And it
It's
goes on
so
for
funny.
days and days and days.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the worst part of my life right now in terms of life stage is nobody is getting married anymore. So I'm just waiting for my friends' kids to grow up and then we attend their weddings, because there was once in life where my friends are all getting married at the same time. You always have that um, period of life where everyone's getting married or being invited. And now they have sort of tapered to a point where nobody's getting married. But yeah, Indian weddings are a huge business as well, and they're a lot of fun because people can't go to weddings all the time. I know now there's a new business, and it's a very brilliant idea of having a nightclub-ish sort of a thing, but it's like mimicking a Indian wedding function. So you dress up, you go there, you dance, and come out. I'm like, why didn't I think of that idea? Because that's brilliant. And then you don't need to take gifts and stuff. You just walk up, dress up, and you dance and come back, and you have a good good evening.
Great idea. Great idea. But yeah, strongly recommend Indian weddings.
Strongly recommend Indian where the food is amazing as well.
Yes. Yes. All kinds of cuisine and the barbecue, and every area was decorated differently. It was just stunning. Best experience for sure. Say, Auntie, if someone listening wants to eventually be in your kind of role, what's one small thing they could be doing this month to move closer?
Yeah, it's different for different people. I can just tell my journey, how I went about it. I'm very grateful for how that when I used to look at people who do the roles that I wanted, I just used to look at their profiles, understand, okay, where did they come from? What did they do before this? And then sometimes I would go and approach them and say, oh, you're doing project management. How did you get into project management? What did you learn? What did you do? So maybe that's a good start to understand, okay, you're interested in delivery roles or project manager roles. Who in your organization does that? Do you know anybody personally? Go to them. I think most people are quite open to discuss how they reached a particular point in their careers. Maybe just ask what all trainings did they did. The second thing I would say is professional trainings and certifications are really important, especially when you're trying to break through a particular career. So I've done a lot of them when I started any sort of roles in Australia. I've done a huge heap of certifications. First of all, the education is really good. So if you can afford to do in-person training, really good, like do a day or two. The first training I did was 2 days in person, amazing training. But if you can't afford it, if you don't want to put in the money, then, I mean, I'm talking about 8 years back. Now there's whole heap of, like with AI, if you want to learn something, there is no stopping you, right? So I feel that those certifications really come in handy because they make you stand out. The third one, I would say, don't be afraid to stretch in your current role and do more. Like, say, for example, when I was a senior BA in the place I was working for, they didn't have a project manager, and I knew it would be very busy. But I said, look, I can do both roles. You don't need to pay me, but I'm happy to do the other role for you. And they were okay about it. Like, there was nothing for them to lose. And they gave me that opportunity, and I could get that experience. And sometimes you have to, I mean, that obviously was a very busy period, but it gave me that hands-on experience. And Australia is a country where they really value a few things. Like, first of all, experience is extremely valued here. The second one is, like I was saying, the professional certs. So yeah, I feel those are the things. If I have to coach somebody to get in, I would say, like, oh, and the third one and the fourth one probably is finding a mentor, if possible, within your organization is really good. And I feel the one thing which doesn't work about mentors sometimes is you have a mentor, you have a few sessions, and then it sort of tapers off. And that is very common for mentor-mentee relationships. And I think that's most often the case because you are not offering much as a mentee. You are just trying to take from a mentor, which is fine. But I think any relationship works well when it's both ways. So I think sometimes if you have a mentor, maybe just offer to do some certain things for them. If they're obviously in the same organization, you can't have all their data from anywhere else. But if they're doing a role, maybe just say, can I analyze this file for you? Can I make this PowerPoint for you? How can I help? Can I shadow you? Can I do a meeting for you? So just to summarize, professional certs go a long way. Understand people's background, where they've come from, try to talk to them, network. Third one is try to stretch if it's possible in your own roles. Like, nobody would say no to free work. And it also shows initiative, right? That you're interested in your career, you're controlling it. And the fourth one is having good mentors who can help you get where you want to be.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I love that you said initiative. Take the initiative. I can see some of my clients that they play it safe. They go into a role and they often just stay in that lane. That's my job. And I encourage them to, and we go on a bit of a journey together because they do eventually want to go into leadership roles. And how do you go about that? Coming out of that comfort zone, right?
Mm.
And I encourage them to, if you want to have the technology that you're working on impact the business in some way, you need to understand the business. So, like you said, go to project managers and maybe get involved in a project, or ask them about the project they're working on that impacts the business, and start to find a way to get involved and just do small progressions towards that. The project manager then sees that you're doing that, or a delivery manager is seeing that you're contributing to that in just little ways. It doesn't have to be massive ways. Again, it's stepping out of that comfort zone. because will they laugh at me? Will they take me serious? Will do it anyway. Just have the courage, do it anyway. If they laugh at you, they laugh at you. The next time you do it, it'll probably break through. Just do it anyway. Do it when people laugh at you. Do it when it's uncomfortable. It doesn't matter. The point is you're showing up for you and you're showing up for what you want for your career, and just keep doing that and having the courage to do it.
Yeah, I think you've nailed it. I feel like nobody is going to give you things on a platter, right? I think it is something which we have to, like, the only person who can help us is us. Like, I really believe in that. So I feel there is obviously harder ways to do things. So I feel there's always smarter ways to do everything. And some people in your organization can help you in that, because if they have climbed it, they know how to climb. And I feel every company has people who are really good. They're ready to help. And again, like, maybe I'm too positive and too naive. But if you want to find, I don't know, I truly believe that you get what you really, really desire. So if you really desire to be in a leadership role, some shape or form, it would not come immediately, obviously, but some way or the other, it will land. And I've seen multiple examples of that, like, around me all the time, like somebody really, really trying and they're failing. And the other tip I would give, and I've seen this with a lot of colleagues of mine, sometimes you keep on trying and it's not happening, and it's really, really heartbreaking. And you want to just give up and go, like, do something else, or just keep on doing what you're doing. But maybe that analogy of there's only 1 centimeter left and you still have to dig. And then when you dig that 1 centimeter, you're there. But if you just go back after that 99, that just means that you were so close, but you gave up. And I know it's hard. If you give interviews after interviews and you're failing, it's really, really hard. But you just have to keep trying, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And the right support systems around you can help you. Because that's a lot of what I do. I help with the how. Because often we're
Mm.
told, be authentic, be confident, be empathetic, be compassionate. But we struggle with the how. So,
Mm.
yeah, I like to help with the how. So tell me then, what's the most surprising upside you've discovered on your leadership journey?
Maybe something funny, but like with tech leadership or like tech teams or tech people, a lot of people feel that they're very geeky and they are not interested in talking or socializing a lot. And they are just interested in their headsets on coding. But I think the most surprising thing that I've found is a lot of such people are also people who would have such long chats. It's just about finding that rapport gradually. And a lot of such people are really helpful people. And I've worked with, I would say, hundreds of those people, and they are my best friends because I know that's where I lack. I don't have the technical depth, but I would have them around me because I know if I need something, they would be there in a second. But that's the work part of it. But the other part, which is surprising, which is your question, is that a lot of tech people are quite social. They really want to be there, be seen, talk, and like be social. But I feel like they are also carrying around their geeky nature, and people sort of feel that they're not. But it's sometimes about, like, digging that exterior, and you're like, oh, okay, this person has so much to talk about, so much to chat. So yeah, maybe give them a chance. The really geeky, techie people, they want to talk to you. It's just that you have to make a little bit more effort, probably.
Oh, 100%. And I'm so glad you brought this up because I used to have clients that would always say to me, we need the right cultural fit. They're not the right cultural fit. And it was often when I ran my technology recruitment company previously, it was often those who are shy and introverted and a bit more techie. And I would speak to them, and to me, they would let it all out and be free. So I put it back to that client and said, do you have that environment to bring it out in them?
Hmm.
And they literally did not know what to say because I put it back on them. It's because I'm a little bit on the fence of cultural fit sometimes, because when you ask for cultural fit, you also have to be a cultural fit for that person coming in to the organization. And you cannot put that on somebody. If they're shy and introverted, give them a platform in your organization that help bring out the best of them. Because like you mentioned, I'm so glad you said that, inside all of us techies, we love to be social. So again, I bring it back to the how. It's just the how sometimes. And
Hmm.
it's in us, just don't know how. And that can come from upbringing. It can come from being bullied. I was bullied myself, and I became shy and introverted because I kept expecting that in everything I did, that someone's going to bully me or laugh at me. And that's why I'll always stand up to
Yeah.
organizations when they say stuff like that, because really, are you disregarding people who are perfectly capable and perfectly
Hmm.
talented because you've got this stigma. And I challenge that, and I encourage other people to challenge that too.
Yeah, to be honest, being shy and introverted is not a bad thing, right? I know a lot of people don't believe me when I say this, but I was quite introverted when I was young. And then gradually, I think I came to my whatever natural self. But it's always a balance, right? You need people who are sort of out there, talkative, and then you need people who are on the quieter side, but they're listening, they're absorbing, and it adds that extra layer of, and that's what I was saying, like these roles have made me much more patient, like to my own partner, for example. He is not an introverted person, but he's very detail oriented, very perfectionist. And at my work, I've seen people like that. I've worked with a lot of people, like my product peer in REA in one of the projects was like that. And now I appreciate my husband more because I'm like, these product people, they are like that. They want to make the perfect deck. They want to make the perfect mirror because that's what they are. Like, I think it gives you so much, like you asked that question, like what do you take back to your personal life? That's probably one of the best things that I've taken back. And the appreciation of people in general is really, really, really important for any leadership role because that's all you're doing, right? You're dealing with people.
Yeah, and I think we're all wonderful in our own right, with our own individual characteristics. And but there are some characteristics that we have that we get from our parents that are absolutely wonderful and make us great leaders. But there are also some that don't. So we need to work on those sides of us too, and not be afraid to. Don't be afraid to go, okay, that triggers me. Okay, I'll just work on that rather than bury it and then take it out on everyone. Oh my goodness, this has been an absolutely wonderful conversation, Sayanti. Thank you so much for being here and for your honesty.
No problem. That was really, like I said, very deep questions that made me think, and it took me back to my first day in New Jersey, which was really good. I didn't imagine this podcast would take me back there, but really good. I think a lot of new memories would come, which I've somewhere in my brain, it's like hidden and it would come out.
Nice. I'm glad. I'm glad. And to you listening, I hope this episode gives you the little nudge that you need to start picturing yourself in these leadership roles. Remember, these roles are not out of your reach. If today's chat sparked something for you, pass it on. Let's get more women seeing what's possible. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss what's coming up next. Until then, be the change you want to see. Catch you next time on the Mic with Shaz.
Thank you.